Hello guys, today we are doing the next part, part two of our Graph Mapper series. We're going to create this skyscraper, and this is a skyscraper that is in Miami Beach, and it's done by Arquitectonica, and you can see the spirit of this is sort of emulating a Graph Mapper path. So we are going to use a graph mapper. We will utilize a graph mapper component. We're using the sine wave in this case, and then we're going to feed our data into the interpolate T command. And we will get into how to get these very unique articulations wherever the graph mapper points arrive. And then we'll just model the rest of this high-rise. Okay, so let's get to work. Okay, so let us start a new file. I am gonna make a new Grasshopper canvas. Hit Control N. I'm gonna open up a new Rhino file. I'm gonna hit No. I want my units in feet. Okay, so let me start building my high-rise. So I'm going to use the rectangular tool. Let me pull down my bifocals. So I will go to construct domain. I'll do the same thing as I've done in the past. I'm going to put this expression editor as negative x divided by 2. This expression editor as x divided by 2. I want to make this maybe 112 feet by 70 feet, so let me get my slider. Let me put the maximum as 120. So around 116. And then make this 70. Let me put a radius on the side, maybe not so severe. Let me make the maximum 10 feet. Okay, something like maybe 6. Okay, I want to make this into 35 stories and deck-to-deck height, 12 feet. So I'm going to take my series command. The steps, like I said, it's going to be 12 feet. Let me just put this to 35. So the steps, you'll see it's going to be 12 feet. It's going to have 35 stories, so I'll just go to 35. I'll use the move component. So this series is just going to repeat these elements 35 times. Take the Z. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to evaluate these curves so I can apply the graph mapper component into the curves. So I'm going to go to Evaluate. And now I'm going to reparameterize the curve. And as we saw in the first part, what it does is it takes this length and creates it into a domain of 0 to 1 as opposed to the actual length. Because if you see the actual length, it's 363 lineal feet. So that's going to be too confusing to try to do it just basing on the actual length. So I'm going to use a list length. I am going to use the range component. So you can see the range component is working from 0 to 1, and it's going to split this into 10 numbers, steps to 10 numbers. So I'm going to apply this list. I'm going to put the expression editor x minus 1. I'm going to get the graph mapper. Let me use the sign. That's what it kind of looks like. Let me apply this. Okay, you can kind of see it's kind of working its way. We're kind of getting this little. Now I want to create that interesting geometry. So first I want to interpolate this so I can just first of all see how it looks. And then I am going to apply that little funky geometry that I showed you where it arcs here. So I need to first draw a line SDL. To start, I'm going to go to endpoints. Actually, the start is actually here. The direction is going to be in the Y direction. I want to take one of these sliders. Let me make the maximum 10. Let's see what happens if I use. Okay, so whoops, my bad. Okay, now the next thing I need to do, I want to create that arc, so I need to put a point here and a point here, and then eventually get an endpoint here. So I am going to do another line, but this time I'm going to move it into the X direction. And this one, I am going to go expression editor, -x. I am going to grab another one. I'm just going to make it regular x. So I have these two lines. Let me just reduce it, maybe to 9. I can keep it at 10, and then now I want to get my endpoints. Okay, I want to get this endpoint as well. Okay, so point. So I need to get basically. I need to be able to get all these points, but included as a arc. So this is the middle point right here. So I'm going to go make another point component. This is the start. This is the middle. This is the end. And I will need to graph these. So let me get the graph here. Get the graph here. Okay, correct. So we have the 105 values. So you can see that when I use my param viewers, I have 35 values. Let me just simplify. And each of those values has 3 items. So I was able to group that. Now the next thing I need to do is with these points, I need to make a line here. And you'll see what I'll do next. So I'm going to type line. I see my data. Okay, so it's correct, 35 locally items. So the next thing is I need to use the interpolate vertex component. So the vertices I'm going to get here. Now the line, I need to vectorize this in order to as you can see, it's giving me this arch, but I want to have that little articulation. So what I need to do is I need to make this line a vector. I need to use a unit vector to get to that space. I need to create a multiplication. Let me get a slider. I'm gonna go to R and make the highest value 5. And then, as you can see, these are grafted elements. I need to graft this vector. So I'm gonna have to go graft. I'm gonna also go simplify. I like to simplify things. And let me plug these two elements. And voila. And now you can see how we arrived at this articulation. So as I lower, yes. And that's exactly what we want. So I am going to just hide some elements. Okay, so the next step that I need to do is I need to split this, each of these curves to include this. So I have this element. I'm going to go to endpoints. I have the point. Okay, so I have the curves. So I'm going to go to, let me just put in a curve component here. So then I want to do a curve closest points. Let me see if I can merge this. Okay, so here are the points. Here's the curve. Oh, I need to graph this curve. Okay, I'm going to use the shatter component. Go to the curve. And you can see there's 2 items per each curve. So I want to simplify this. I'm going to go to my list items. Okay, so now we have split the items. Now we're noticing a little bit of a weirdness. Like we have this item split and this item split. And this could be easily resolved. We can, what's happening is that this point is going beyond that curve. So let me just adjust it. Okay. Okay, now it's more like it. So let me go to my list item. Use my slider. Okay, so we have that, and let me just double check. I'm gonna just, yeah, so it's there. Let me go. Now I am going to take these curves and join them. Join curves. See how it's laid out. These are as groups. These are laid out as groups. Okay, so then I will just get the endpoints of these curves. So I want to move. I'm going to do a line SDL. Start Y. Now we have this line. I think this 9 feet is a little bit too much. I want to go maybe make it 5 feet. Yeah, I'm going to go to integer. So this 5 feet, what I'm going to do is for the deck, I'm going to go addition. I want this to go beyond 3 feet, and you'll see what I'm going to be doing. So then I want to take this curve. I want to offset this. Set. Let me integer distance. Let me use my expression editor. -x. And then let me, you know what? I wanna actually have the line start here. Let's see what I'm gonna do. So let's see. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do the line. Well, let's see what happens when I'm gonna do a sweep 2. I'm gonna make this one the rail. I'm gonna make this the other rail. Make this the section. Let me see. Oh, this needs to be grafted. Simplify. Okay, this is not really the result that I want. I want to get this point. I want to start the rail on this point. I think that would be a better solution. So let me go back. Okay, so then this will be the starting point of okay, now you can see it's a little bit better organized. Okay, so we have that. We have, let's take this offset and let's make this into a surface. Let's make this into a B-rep join. So what we do, we flatten this. Okay, and after flattening it, you have 35 elements. And let's start making our concrete slabs. So I want to offset this surface by 6 inches. Oops. Hold on. In fact, actually, I can offset the entire B-rep. So let me go distance, expression, -x. I want to actually okay, I actually want to do both of those. Okay, so I have the slab. I'm gonna Now I want to get my curtain wall, so I can start with here. So I'm going to extrude in the Z direction. Okay, so we're gonna make the curtain wall. We know that it's 12 feet deck to deck, so I'm going back to my series command. Let me type in integer. Subtraction. I'll just take this right here. There it is. And then I want to get the railing. So extrude Z. Railing is 42 inches, so that's 3.5 feet. We can actually cull, and then 5 feet. Let me just start using my color preview. Swatch. There's the slab. And then let me get the curtain wall. Let me just move. Let me just list one item. List item. I need to first of all flatten this. So it's listing. Let me reverse this. Okay, so let me cap that, the top item. Let me go to B-rep, deconstruct B-rep. I want to get a slab on the top, list item. Slider, I want to get from 0 to 5. Okay, so I want to offset this surface 0.5. So I want that as the slab. I want to slab is the white, so let me go here. So let me start hiding everything except for the swatches. Okay, so there you go. So we just modeled this skyscraper, which has the graph mapper. This is the second video in the second series, So thank you.